The show starts in 1 minute.
This is Victor Lazlo, VideoZine #1, an extension of PREzz, the underground newspaper of the 60s, the underground magazines and zines of the 80s. This is the 21st century version for the 21st century that has yet to appear. We're supposed to be in this great new world. Something went wrong.
American Brewing Company of New Orleans, brewers of Regal Genuine Lager Beer, the finest beer in the land, presents the finest program on television, Crusade in the Pacific.
Long ago, when these ancient Grecian temples were new, hemp was already old in the service of mankind. For thousands of years, even then, this plant had been grown for cordage and coarse cloth in China and elsewhere in the East. But now, with Philippine and East Indian sources of hemp in the hands of the Japanese, and shipment of jute from India curtailed, American hemp must meet the needs of our Army and Navy as well as of our industries. In 1942, patriotic farmers, at the government's request, planted 36,000 acres of seed hemp, an increase of several thousand %. The goal for 1943 is 50,000 acres of seed hemp. For to grow hemp legally, you must have a federal registration and tax stamp. This is provided for in your contract. Ask your AAA committeeman or your county agent about it.
Rams plagued by fumbles as earthquakes rock Los Angeles. Film at 11.
You've just sold your last case of incense and pestered over 60 pedestrians. After a grueling day, you've finally run out of leaflets. Now it's Willer time. Time to kick off your sandals and pop open a Willer. The best taste in beer since 1892. When it's time to relax after a tough day, you owe yourself the best tasting beer you can find. It goes down easy. It's cool, refreshing, and far less filling.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
You're only reincarnated 6 or 7 times in life, so you've got to reach for all the gusto you can. Willer.
Refreshment time!
They shape, they control, they restrict in order to serve the interests of dominant elite groups.
Our instruction are triumphs and disasters, the pattern of life's changing fabric. Here is great journalism.
This is what we've been waiting for, Mr. Knox. Now, Mr. Knox, if you'll just step over here to the sink and drink this.
Well, if you say so, Doctor. Looks harmless enough. Just like water. Well, here's to my health.
The AMA was a small trade association without political clout, and the balance of medical power remained equal until the turn of the century. Then, new medical treatments emerged that were potentially very profitable. Promoting these methods, the AMA joined with strong financial forces to transform medicine into an industry. The fortunes of Carnegie, Morgan, and Rockefeller financed surgery, radiation, and synthetic drugs. They were to become the economic foundations of the new medical economy. Ironically, John D. Rockefeller himself used only an empiric homeopath while investing in allopathic medicine. Surgery became viable with anesthesia and infection control, and doctors advocated expensive, radical operations. These in turn produced the need for a large, lucrative hospital system. The allopaths also discovered a new toxic mineral, radium. Radium fever swept medicine. The price of radium rose 1,000% almost overnight. Another costly technological industry entered the hospital system. A drug industry grew out of the booming patent medicine business. Ironically, many of the new synthetic drugs came from plants and empiric remedies. Drug company ads boosted the revenues of the AMA Journal 500% in 10 years. The doctors changed educational standards and licensing regulations to exclude the empirics. Soon, only AMA-approved doctors could legally practice medicine. In a brief 20 years, the AMA came to dominate medical practice. Organized Medicine launched a media campaign to associate the empirics with quacks. The code word for competition was quackery.
The phenomenon called chemtrails, now getting widespread attention. Well, tonight, KSLA News 12 investigation reporter Jeff Farrell shows us the results of testing we had done about what's in our skies.
It seemed like some mornings it was crossing the whole sky. It was just like a giant checkerboard.
Bill Nickel like a normal contrail. Soon after, there's already no shortage of unclassified weather modification programs by the government. But those who fear chemtrails could be secret biological or chemical testing on the public point to the 1977 Senate hearings in particular, which confirmed 239 populated areas had been contaminated with biological agents between 1949 and 1969. Later, the 1994 Rockefeller Report concluded hundreds of thousands of military personnel were also subjected to secret biological experiments over the last 60 years. But could secret testing be underway yet again?
I'd rather it be something inert and benign, something that's, not causing any damage, but I'd like to know what it is.
KSLA News 12 discovered chemtrails are even mentioned by name in the initial draft of House Bill 2977 back in 2001 under the Space Preservation Act. But the military denies any such program exists. Jeff Farrell, KSLA News 12 reporting.
And, it turns out until 9 years ago, the government had the right under U.S. law to conduct secret testing on the American public under specific conditions. Only a public outcry repealed part of that law with some exceptions.
Mittlerweile deutet alles darauf hin, dass ein Militärexperiment die Wolken verursacht hat. Und jetzt hat ein neues Gebilde offenbar Kurs auf NRW genommen. Was das bedeutet und welche Rolle geheimnisvolle Düppels dabei spielen, PREzz verrät es Ihnen.
Kampfjäger der Bundeswehr manipulieren unsere Wetterkarten. Diese Vermutung von Bonner Wetterfröschen ist jetzt bestätigt. Unheimliche Geisterwolken mit einer Länge von 350 Kilometern tauchen plötzlich auf den Radarschirmen auf. Allerdings nur auf dem Wetterradar. Einmal im Sommer 2005 und einmal im März 2006. Die Bundeswehr hat mittlerweile zugegeben, dass sie im März eine Luftkampfübung über Holland machte. Für Carsten Brandt von donnerwetter.de ist klar, das ist des Rätsels Lösung.
Wir wissen heute, dass es mit 99,9%iger Sicherheit Düppel waren. Düppel bestehen aus
Tonnen dieser Substanzen. Laut Bundeswehr wurden aber nur ganz geringe Mengen dieser Düppel ausgesetzt. Sie dienen der bewussten Täuschung von Radarbildern, da ihre haarfeinen Fäden
richtig großflächig die Umwelt verschmutzt und das auch noch mit Geheimnistuerei verbunden und das muss auf den Tisch. Wir werden die Landesregierung danach fragen und die soll die Bevölkerung jetzt...
Die Prognose von uns sagt, dass wir Südwestwind haben. Das heißt, diese Wolke wird dann tragen. Also es ist ein richtiger Wolkenfilm, der dann entsteht.
Wegen Wettermanipulation gestellt. Er wird sein Radar in der nächsten Zeit genau beobachten, denn jede neue Geisterwolke könnte seine Vermutung bestätigen.
From a former worker at the Oak Ridge nuclear plant, I found that the approach of our government to chemtrails is twofold. One is they think if they put metals up there over places where there were cities or groups of people, they could deflect the sun's rays back up again, and so they could combat global warming. It's kind of crazy, but anyway, that's one of the reasons. The other is what they're calling aerial pharmacopoeia. They're outrageous. They don't belong in our sky. Things they don't even know about. We don't need this kind of dosing the population with unknown chemicals and messing up the body metabolism. I think they're also a carrier for all kinds of biological and chemical warfare. So I don't think they're dropping them on us right now, but they seem to be preparing. They're getting people used to seeing these things, and they're getting the military used to doing it. And they're probably practicing with things they consider relatively harmless. Whether they really are, we get fooled by a living system. Things that we think are harmless are not. I find